Okay, good day, everyone. This is Elder Pamela Robinson Smith. I'm sitting here once again with my beloved son, Kyrie Smith McCall,
Hello, everybody. We're back.
and we're talking further about the 8 dimensions of wellness. And today's topic is
Occupational wellness.
all right, here we go.
With this presentation, you'll learn about the 8 dimensions of wellness. They will help you gain control of your life and achieve sought after balance. If you're new to all this, just to let you know, this is the work of Dr. Peggy Swarbrick. She developed this concept in the 1990s. This presentation is our interpretation of her concept.
Okay, so we've done previous episodes of our podcast and generally talked about the 8 dimensions of wellness that include emotional, physical, social, spiritual, intellectual, environmental, and financial. The one that we're talking about today, the topic for today, is occupational. Okay, Kyrie, tell us about occupational wellness.
It consists of personal satisfaction with your job and career. When you bring in your goals and your abilities in a career, it will likely enhance your contentment. Wellness is finding a career that is an ideal fit for you.
So you're exactly right. And the jobs that we're going to talk about today will be considered dead end jobs for most people. But I did want to mention that oftentimes we'll see that people that may have special challenges may have some of these jobs, and it may be just what they need to feel relevant in our world. So, what's a dead end job to some may not be dead end for others. Okay, Kyrie, tell us about dead end jobs.
The opposite of occupational wellness is working at a dead end job. A dead end job means to have these are the criteria. It has little to no room for growth or advancement, and it has bare minimum pay. According to an MSN.com article, millions of people around the world are trapped in jobs that offer little to no satisfaction, pay poorly, and have bleak prospects for the future. This article actually identified 10 jobs that most would consider a dead end.
And I know that we have worked some of these jobs, so this episode is going to touch us a little more personally, right?
Yes.
Okay, the first one up is food service workers.
These jobs include servers, waiters at restaurants or diners, and fast food workers. In addition to low pay, these jobs have irregular schedules and a high level of stress. There are no growth opportunities or benefits, so these jobs have a high turnover rate. Let's not forget the physical demands and how it affects the wellness of these workers.
So, Kyrie, have you ever worked as a food service worker?
I worked at an Olive Garden. I wasn't a waiter per se, but I was a dishwasher and I worked in that environment and I saw firsthand how crazy and chaotic it can be. Especially I know things such as regular scheduling because there were some days where I knew what time I was going to be getting off at work at, and there were some days that I didn't know. It's like it wasn't until the manager said that you were done for the day. And let's not forget the last time I worked there. You remember the story where it went longer than expected, and I ended up coming home at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that was not cool. And would you say that it had physical demands as a dishwasher?
Yes, definitely a lot of things. You were on your feet. You were on your feet a lot. You're moving stuff frequently, and and also the fact that I don't know if I told you this. You don't get a regular break, and they don't have a break room for you to sit down and eat your food.
All right, that's firsthand knowledge for you. Okay, next is telemarketers.
This industry probably has the highest turnover rates than any others. With increasing automation, the future looks bleak for this profession. Most people have nothing positive to say about telemarketers. We all both have experience from that.
Mm-hmm.
Telemarketers repeatedly receive rejecting responses, and this is disheartening. Plus, digital marketing practices are increasing while telemarketing practices are decreasing.
Yes. So I've had some positions that would definitely be considered a telemarketer. And what I've learned is that people do not want to be sold. Okay?
Hmm.
If they wanted to purchase something, more than likely they will go online or they go in a store. Now, your grandmother used to work way back in the day for Bambergers. She was considered, I guess, somewhat of a telemarketer, more a debt collector over the phone. And she often told about being cursed out and hung up on. So telemarketers have a same or similar experience. Not a job that is easy. So next we got retail sales associate, something that both of us have experiences about. Tell us about it, Kyrie.
In addition to minimal low pay and advancement, retail sales associates are negatively impacted by the rise of online shopping. It reduces the necessity of physical retail positions. Plus, this job does not typically offer benefits like retirement or health plans.
So tell us, what has been your retail sales experience?
I'll just give you the Cliff Notes version. I've worked at various jobs, whether it be Kmart, BJ's, Home Depot, and Boscov's. And one thing I can definitely experience is that what this article said is very much true. Like the pay is not very good, limited opportunities. You're, like I said earlier, being on your feet, high levels of traffic with customers, and various things. And my experience here, I've come to the realization that if you're going to be successful in this field, either you have to be a manager or a supervisor. If you're just a sales associate, or even with Boscov's, I was a stock person in one of the departments, the opportunities are very, very slim.
Yes. But I will say this. I worked in retail from the time I was a teenager through college because at those ages you don't really have the skill set to work a better job, right?
Yes.
So I've worked for Macy's, Nordstrom's, um, Lord and Taylor, and he says so. Retail sales is something that I did for a long time before I actually found a fulfilling career.
Yes, and also I just wanted to add up that a lot, we're talking about a lot of these jobs that in this environment, like I said, when you're young, it's inevitable that you would end up in this environment. But the key thing is, after a while, you have to realize what path do you want to go to career wise, and it's best not to stay there. The best thing for you to do is to, while you're there, cultivate some skills, become a better worker, so you can be able to do that and take those skills and take it to something better for yourself.
Exactly correct. You couldn't have said it better. Okay, the next position we're talking about, administrative assistants.
Did you know that automated systems threaten the necessity for administrative assistance? Well, this role is being more and more stagnant because of its growth potential is minimal. After the COVID-19 pandemic, working remotely is becoming the trend. Thus, in-person administrative support is fading away.
So, do you have any thoughts about administrative assistant work?
Well, this was a path that I was originally going to go on. I obtained a certificate a couple years ago. I didn't use it initially, but it was something that I was going to do. But after having some talks with some friends of mine, I realized that this field is especially on the decline. And then I realized maybe this will be not be the right path to go on, and try to find something that's more lucrative and that's more progressive and going upward as opposed to downward.
I hear you. Um, Again, this is probably one of the jobs I've had. Particularly, I was the administrative assistant at a dental office, and I kind of was administrative assistant and dental assistant because it was a small office. You do a lot of work that may not be fun and may be repetitive, and so it's good for you to gather skills and move forward when you know exactly where you want to go.
Mhm.
The next job we're going to talk about is manual laborers.
These jobs include construction workers and factory workers, or any job that is physically demanding. There is rarely growth advancement and job security in these positions. There are long lasting effects on the health of manual laborers. When these workers cannot work, it negatively impacts their financial wellness.
Definitely true. And who do we know that was basically, I think, considered a manual laborer?
My grandfather, he was a mechanic for many years, and you could say this could be put in that category because while he was blessed with good health throughout his life, and so he didn't have any prolonged like illnesses. It comes to mind that if you get injured in any sort of way, it's like basically your financial wellness is definitely not in the best place, and you try to figure out what are you going to do about that. There's nothing you can really what you can do about it.
Right. I mean, he was blessed with many, many years of good health and wellness. Even when he used to get hurt doing the job, like the hood of the car dropping on his head.
I remember that. I remember he used to one of the things not to get off topic, but he used to pick me up from high school regularly. And I remember one time you came there, and I was thinking, what's going on? Where is he?
Yeah, he didn't even stop then. He just put a wad of paper towels on his head, put the cap on, and kept going. That's resilience for you. Okay, so the next job we're going to talk about is taxi drivers.
Apps like Uber and Lyft make the need for taxis almost non-existent. Of course, this negatively impacts the financial wellness for taxi drivers. Not to mention that the hours are long and they require financial investment in their licenses and vehicles. The potential for career growth and income is uncertain.
So, yes, technology, like in a lot of the other jobs that we talk about, has basically diminished the amount of taxi drivers that we see. I mean, of course, in New York, you see lots and lots of cabs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But oftentimes, especially here in Jersey, we rely heavily on the apps. So, and we know that we know our previous pastor is a taxi driver,
Mm-hmm.
but he does it part time, and it's not the only thing that he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's one of those jobs that technology is taking a poke at.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk about cashiers next.
Have you noticed that technologies for self-service and automation is more available? Well, this evolution minimizes the need for human cashiers. Oftentimes, cashiers work part-time only, so they don't qualify for benefits and risk financial security. This job is not for anyone who seeks more engaging employment.
Yes, I think this is probably one of the few jobs that I have not done because I didn't want to fear messing up somebody's money. And we have all been in the grocery stores or stores like Target or whatever where the lines were super long. We don't want to be the one messing it up as a cashier, right?
Yes, and I can also say that for the longest time I didn't do cash. I didn't involve cashiering in many jobs. However, my current job, one of the things that it does that has working a cashier, whether it be actual money or using the card, and so I finally gotten some experience doing that.
Oh, you got experience Mama didn't get. Good for you. Okay, next we're going to talk about textile workers.
There is a decline in textile work because the industry is turning towards automation and outsourcing. Textile workers exist in poor work settings while receiving low pay. Additionally, the shift towards sustainable and ethical fashion is reshaping the industry, potentially leaving traditional skills behind.
I would say that this is a job that I have not worked personally, but I have heard a lot about that it's not easy work. The conditions and the setting in which you work is not comfortable and very demanding to produce a certain amount of clothing or what have you in a certain short period of time. All right, now we're getting down to the end. We're going to talk about print journalist.
In the current digital age, anyone can become a journalist or writer. Of course, this trend negatively impacts print journalism. Print publication either fade away or convert into digital publications. When circulation decreases, the job opportunities go away. Online platforms has changed the way news is consumed, further challenging traditional print media.
So, when was the last time you bought a newspaper?
I can admit I haven't bought a newspaper. I remember years ago, my grandmother was very much into getting newspapers, and she would buy them. And I remember I got into it because I remember at one point they had Spider-Man comics in the papers, and so she was very much a newspaper collector. And my grandfather, I don't think he was a newspaper collector, but he liked to use old newspapers whenever, since
Hmm.
being he was a mechanic, he would use the old newspapers when he would involve paint jobs.
That's right. So newspapers back in the day were the thing, and your grandmother, yes, my mother, she loved the Sunday newspaper because it was the thickest newspaper of the week. It had the sales papers in there, which was her main concern. Also, it had the comics, which was my concern, and then like interesting articles about cultural things. Nowadays, all we need to do is look at our phone or go on a computer, right?
Hmm.
Okay, last and certainly not least, let's talk about bank tellers.
Like other industries, the banking industry is evolving towards more digital services. This means the need for traditional bank tellers are going away. The skill set for today's bank tellers is less interpersonal and more technical. Think about it. We can do most of our banking on our phones or computers.
Yes. I remember when I was young, my parents used to teach me all I needed to learn about going to the bank, cashing checks, depositing money, so on and so forth. Nowadays, we simply need to pull out our phone and we could deposit a check through our phone. Who would have ever thought that could happen?
Yes, a lot of advancements. I remember you told me about the whole thing about cashing a check through your phone, and I remember most of the time that's how I do a lot of things. I remember sometimes I had some involvements. Let's say if I wanted have some a certain amount of money converted into singles, I would go there to do it because I don't think you can do it on the apps. And
No.
at my current job, one of the duties that I have is going sending having taken money to the banks for deposits.
Yeah, so I mean, we still need to go to the bank sometimes, but there's less opportunities necessary for us to go to the bank.
Hmm.
So, this conversation about occupational wellness and learning what could be considered dead end jobs to some people um, contributes to not being occupationally well. So, our goal is to share this information so that you can aspire to do better, right, Kai?
Yes, and what we're saying is that we're certain with certain positions, especially if you're young, is there's some fields that are inevitable that you will have to pass through. But the goal is to, while you're there, cultivate skills, hone your skills, so that you're not there for for the rest of your life.
That's right. And like I said earlier, while this may be dead end jobs for some people, people who are neurodivergent or may have special needs and just want to be able to work anywhere, these jobs may not be a dead end. But at the end of the day, everything is about growth and making yourself better. Because when you do grow and you increase your wellness, there's more balance. Is there any last things you would like to say?
No, we just wanted to inform you about certain things and how to what to look out for and how what are ways that you can help improve your life.
So thank you, Kyrie, once again
Thank
for
you.
meeting with me, your mama. These projects, these episodes bring me joy because I get to hear your thoughts about things, and people can understand that even if you have any challenges in your life, you always can have a voice to express it and to help somebody who may be going through things that are way worse than you. Thank you once again for listening and stay tuned for future episodes. Take care.
Take care.